well, welcome to Comics Unbagged, episode 3 of 2018. My name's Danny Humphrey. This is Cameron Convet. As you notice, we have a couple of special guests this week from Nerdchat. Right on the far end, we have Rick Fry.
Oh, he gets introduced first.
Yeah, I'm cooler than you are.
And then next to him is Josh Gallagher. We've decided to collaborate our two podcasts this week because we all got a chance to go and see the Black Panther together.
Yes.
And we kind of wanted to, get the two groups together, the two podcasts together, and maybe talk about the film as a whole and kind of go from there.
Actually, what's really happening is the Anti-Monitor's back, so both of our worlds are merging. So we had to do a podcast of two words.
We have to stop him, and only we can
That's
do it.
DC. So, on to Marvel.
No one wants to talk about Marvel.
Back to the Marvel podcast.
So overall, the movie starts, and what are your thoughts going in?
Well, and so this is the first time that we've actually sat down and talked about it since we saw the movie.
Yeah.
And we've had time to digest.
So I was kind of wondering what your expectations going in were.
When I went in kind of iffy on it because I've never been a big Black Panther fan.
Okay.
Like, I've liked him in ensemble casts like the Avengers and things like that.
Words uttered by every comic book fan ever.
I mean, I never picked up a Black Panther solo story because I was
words.
Yeah. I don't think any of us were a big Black Panther.
Yeah, to be honest with you, in the early 70s, there was a Black Panther story that came out when he first came out, and it's actually considered Marvel's first graphic novel, and it was a 12-issue part series that came out. But after that, as far as solo series go, they didn't start up again until 98.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. That's probably why.
He is a character that's been literally brought back to life by Marvel, and he's appeared in Avengers, and like you said, he's appeared in ensemble comics.
'Cause I want to say the first time I saw Black Panther was probably when he popped up in Ultimate Alliance back on PS2.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Because he was an unlockable character, and I was like, who the hell is that? I had no idea who the hell it was.
Right, he's like Batman with no cape. But
That was my thing. I was like, is he just like Black Batman? That's pretty cool. I'd go for that.
I think the most exposure I've had to Black Panther it hasn't even been in the comics. It was in Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes, that cartoon.
Okay.
That was my most exposure
Yeah.
I've gotten to Black Panther, which he was great at.
Yeah.
Him and Hawkeye, if they're gonna pair together any more two people, I need Hawkeye to be in the next Black Panther movie. That's what I need.
They had really good interaction in Civil War, the movie, where he's like, "Hey, I'm Clint, man." And he's like, I don't care.
I don't care. I was like, yes, those two, perfect.
Coincidentally,
I mean,
my first real exposure to him was in the Mark Millar Civil War comic.
Yeah.
When he was involved in that. That was pretty much my first real exposure to him.
I can honestly thank our friend Darren for exposing me to Black Panther, because that was his favorite Avenger.
Yeah.
So I was like, really, why? And he was telling me oh, well, he's got a vibranium suit and he has claws and blah blah blah. And so that's kind of how I learned about him, and then from there I got exposed you through Civil War and then forward.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I mean-
I didn't find out any more information about him until much later.
I mean, I've always liked him.
Yeah,
I just
he's a
never.
cool guy.
It was he's a cool character.
Well,
but
it was
never,
like I was saying, it's kind of impressive that Marvel's stepping forward with this, I guess you could say, part 2 or part 3 of their next going forward
whatever
series.
phase
They're going into phase 4.
They're at the
I think,
end of
right?
phase 3.
Yeah.
Okay,
This year's
so
the end of phase 3, so we're going into.
I kind of think it's impressive that they're going with these second tier characters, and they're getting the public used to these characters that nobody's really heard of.
Yeah.
Well,
and even comic fans who are just I mean, I've heard of him, but I don't really know anything about him. And
Or just absolutely educating, because as you could tell, with the internet and the buzz that's going on about Black Panther, everyone's pretty much freaking out about it.
Yes.
Yeah. I saw it 3 times.
I did not. I was out of town. I
He's
saw it
got a
once
lot
with
more
all of
free
them.
time.
Me too.
Yeah. What do you do all day?
That.
It was on my days off.
Days off.
The hell are those, man? I have kids.
There's some people who, like, after every Marvel movie comes out, like, oh, that's my favorite Marvel movie now. Well, this one actually was. And, like,
Yes.
it's, like, I don't even know if it's really so much the character in the comics, but, like, movie-wise, MCU-wise, his movie was just so damn cool.
I think as a movie, as a comic book movie, it was pretty good. But as a movie, it was really good.
Yeah.
And it was different from Iron Man 2, which was a great comic book movie, but as a movie, it wasn't as good. You know, like, it was a good comic book storyline, but it was not a great film, per se. Whereas this one was just good as both.
Yeah. I like, too, how you end up, if you're not super familiar, you learn a lot.
Yeah. Not even just about him, but the whole lore of Wakanda.
Their whole
itself.
like MCU about him, and well, not a lot of people know this, but like he is legitimately the first African American superhero ever.
Yeah.
And I think it warrants this type of like
Exposure.
movie and exposure.
Yeah.
It really does. And
You
it
know?
makes it even better that he's the first real African American lead in a comic book movie.
Well, we've had Blade, but I just don't think that stacks up to like what this came.
But I mean, like,
Steel with Shaquille
Blade was.
O'Neal.
Oh my god! You shut the hell up. I mean, Blade was awesome. Don't get me wrong.
fired.
What a masterpiece.
How could
It's
we ever
great.
forget?
Let it stand atop the pantheon. And I mean, I love Blade. I love Blade 1. I love Blade 2. I even love the atrocity that is Blade
Oh, I
3.
love
It's a
Blade
fun
3.
train wreck.
But it is a train wreck. You can't look away. But it's like
Or like I like to call it WrestleMania Blade.
Dude, if I see like Blade 3 on TV, I'm like, I am watching that.
it's awful, but it's so entertaining.
Yeah, it's fun for sure.
But like as a more serious one, and actually being just as more of a comic book movie than Blade was, because Blade was great, but it fit that action horror movie genre.
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't feel like
a comic book
movie.
Also, because like not many people knew who the hell Blade was.
I didn't even know that he was a comic book character. I found out when I was playing Marvel Ultimate Alliance and I pulled him out of the Crane game. I was like, that's Blade. And I looked up like, oh shit, he's a Marvel character. What?
That's so funny.
But yeah,
But it's like I said, it's to me, even though we have gotten Blade, like I feel like this is like some next level shit.
well, and that's
You
kind
know
of
what I
one of the
mean?
other things that I was thinking about the other day. It's like we got Blade before, but that was the prior generation of like comic book movies where we also got like Tom Jane's Punisher and stuff like that. That was a
Right.
different generation.
Yeah, it wasn't
to
MCU.
what we have now.
Yeah, they
and
were
this
standalones.
this is a whole nother level of like more comic book style storytelling too that stands out from that previous generation of comic book movies. And so it's like it's a whole nother level, like you said, of
Yeah, I don't know how you guys feel. There's a couple that I love, but I'm willing to definitely step forward and sweep the Fox movies under the rug now.
I mean,
And
other
step
than
forward.
I mean, honestly, like I love the X-Men movies, but that's just because I'm a huge X-Men fan.
I like X-Men 2.
2 is the shit.
I
really like X-Men 2. I like
I like parts of
I like
the
Days
X-Men
of
movies.
Future.
but I
Days
got
of Future Past. I like. I would say
I
those
like
two.
that one.
Days
I
of
did
Future
like
Past
that
was my
one.
favorite, and I got Logan, which is pretty much
shit.
exactly what I wanted it to be, and it like laid that to rest for me. So at this point, like Logan was the end of that previous generation of comic book movies.
And I
That's
know-
where I think they should stop that X-Men stuff.
I think it should
that was a
end
good
with
stopping
Logan.
point.
Yeah.
For sure.
Because that was like
Xavier's
the
dead,
single
Logan's
best
dead.
ending they could have done.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Fox movies, so it took me forever, but I did watch the new Fantastic Four movie.
Okay.
And I sat through the whole thing and I was like, that wasn't as awful as I thought it was going to be.
That's how I felt too.
I
It
like
wasn't
that's
that
how I
good
felt.
either.
I got to the end, I was
Okay with
like, that was kind of fun to watch.
It was like,
They're
that
all
was a
good
bu-
actors.
Yeah.
It was
They
like,
did a good job with what they were
But-
given.
I mean, it wasn't awful.
No.
And it wasn't good either.
I wouldn't say it was good.
It was
With
a
all the
movie,
and
that's
negative
about all
press-
you can say about it.
With all the negative
funny.
press that it got, when I got to it, it was
So
like,
Cars
that
2
was fine.
wasn't awful.
It wasn't bad. It was entertaining, but so is Sharknado. Like that's
I don't know about that.
Well,
If
to
I could
wrangle
walk
us
out
in
of
a
a
little
movie
bit,
and say I was at least entertained to
wrangle us in a little bit,
that's not that bad.
so Josh, like going into Black Panther, like, did you have any expectations?
Yeah, so what I thought, I mean, well, my expectation was I was going to get a Marvel movie.
Okay.
Like, I'm going to walk out of here and be like, that was fun.
Okay.
I
More
enjoyed it.
continuity moving towards Infinity.
I didn't think it was gonna. I never like at no point did I think it was gonna be bad. I didn't think it was gonna be mind blowing either. But what I didn't expect, and what we got out of it, is that this is like really the next logical step to move forward in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So this is like the new Iron Man 1. Like really. So when you remember when you watched Iron Man and you were just like, look at all this crazy technology he has and how awesome the suit is, and he's like throwing hoops with his holograms. Like that's awesome. And I got that exact same feeling again out of this movie.
Okay.
Because it would just like, look at all this crazy technology. Look how cool this universe is. And it made me feel like I didn't know anything about the universe again.
Right.
And
It was almost like a new step forward.
and it's like when you watched Iron Man, you didn't know it was going to be this whole grand thing. You didn't know that it was going to lead to the Avengers and all this. And this is kind of that same step where it's like you don't know what's going to happen after Infinity War.
yeah.
But if you think about where comics have gone lately and everything, especially like with the Ultimates and whatnot, so you're going to have Captain Marvel and you're going to have Black Panther. Like those two very well could be the next Captain America and Iron Man for the next set of heroes. Like, do you guys watch the Avengers cartoon at all? Avengers Assemble?
No.
Okay.
It's really good.
Their latest season, all the Avengers are gone. Like they got into a fight with King the Conqueror and they all got dispersed. So Black Panther and Captain Marvel stepped up to create a new team of Avengers.
Oh, that's cool.
So they are the lead, like, and
This could
they
be
use the
mirroring
Wakandan embassy as their base of operations since they don't have Stark Tower anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And it very feels like that was a way to kind of like prep at least the kids who are watching the show to be like, it might change. And this is
Interesting.
the way it might go. And when I was watching, I was like, that'd be fine. Like, I love all of the Avengers characters that we've gotten so far. Like, I mean, Robert Downey Jr. is Iron Man, you can't beat it. And Chris Evans is Captain America, you know, like, but if we lose them in Infinity War like it's been speculated, it will feel right to lose them there, and some of these new characters definitely feel like they can step up to the plate.
Get their chance to shine, really.
Well, the funny thing is, if they're pulling anything from the books at all, like such as Infinity Gauntlet or Infinity War, you know, when those series ended, the heroes came back to life.
Yeah.
Like
did.
the gemstones ended up bringing those heroes back to life.
But the thing about that is that in comic books, especially in Marvel, we run on Marvel time, where no one ages ever,
Right.
and we're still reading about
And
Peter
nobody
Parker,
ever really
who was
dies.
introduced
Right.
decades ago,
Right.
and now he's still only like 25.
Well, it's funny. It
But
does.
actors age.
It's funny. It does age, but it ages literally on a sliding scale. So now, when you read The Punisher, he didn't go. He wasn't a Vietnam vet anymore. Now he was a Gulf vet.
yeah, well,
That's
it's
Marvel
It's
time.
like
So it's literally like it's a sliding.
it's like with DC when fucking Batman was giving out guns to U.S. troops in World War II, and now he was born like 40 years after World War II ended.
DC, they reboot.
Yeah, that's fair.
Speaking
Marvel
of which,
does
you guys
it.
heard that Marvel is going to reboot?
Yeah,
Oh, well.
some new initiative to like
Legacy.
clean slate initiative or something like that. I think honestly, moving forward with the MCU, they have carefully hidden replacements for all the main Avengers. So I could see all of them dying, changing Infinity just a little bit to where it's like the sacrifice that was made is maybe the main heroes don't come back. But I mean, when you look at it, and I didn't find this out about Black Panther until afterwards, but his sister becomes Black Panther eventually for a time.
Yeah,
So
she
they even
does.
have that character covered for someone to take the mantle of.
Yeah, you're right. They do plant those seeds very well. Because I mean, we could have, you know,
I want Winter Soldier before
have Bucky. Yeah, we could have Bucky.
Yeah,
become
but that's
Captain
because
America.
Bucky's dope.
Well,
Like,
I actually have a theory about that. Like, I don't know if you've read anything concerning his character Winter Soldier appearing at the end of Black Panther the way he did, with like his arm gone.
But he
And
was
then-
wearing red, white, and blue.
Right, but they also called him the White Wolf. I don't know if you guys know anything about the White Wolf at all.
No,
But
the first thing that
he
popped
was,
into my head was Witcher.
He was a Black Panther enemy that was friends with Black Panther for many years, and then had a drawing out fight with him, and then they ended up being friends later on again. Well, they were kind of speculating. That's funny because Bucky Barnes in this MCU story sort of has that same relationship with T'Challa.
Yeah.
Where when he first came in, like, he was an enemy of T'Challa because he killed his father. And then now that he's in Africa, he might assume the role of that White
of
Wolf.
the White Wolf. That'd be cool.
You know,
I could
so
go for that.
there's speculation that he could actually be a different character. And now with that out of the way, and the speculation for Captain America's death, the throne would fall to the Falcon.
Which, I mean, I'm not against, because I like Sam,
I
too.
do like Captain Falcon. He's great.
The one in the MCU
Not in my
is
comic
awesome.
books, not when I buy Captain America the comic book,
No.
but in the
I liked
MCU
him-
I can actually see
I
it.
liked him in
That-
Avengers. I didn't read his individual stuff,
Yeah.
but I did like him in the
I
Avengers.
think that actor's name is Anthony Mackie. He's awesome. He,
Yeah.
Like, some of the aerial stuff they do, because after watching Black Panther, I rewatched Civil War to see how it would line up and how, like, you know how sometimes when you see a movie where a character's introduced, they act a certain way, and then the solo movie comes out, and then when you rewatch the first appearance, you're like, it's almost like two different characters.
Who the hell is that?
But he stuck with it. Like,
Is that
it felt
Clayface?
like the same character. But going back to the Falcon, some of those aerial maneuvers where he'd pull the wings in and free fall and like kind of kick someone or shoot
Yeah,
something
dude.
out of the like middle part, like they actually made it cool.
Yeah.
Really
Yeah.
cool.
And that was one of the things that was another character that I was like, okay, I don't really know
yeah.
much about this guy, whatever. And then I go to the movie, I'm like, he was cool as hell.
Yeah, right.
So, let's say, going back to the movie, if you were to put Black Panther aside, what would be your favorite actor character in the movie?
The sister.
She's
I loved her.
like-
She was amazing.
And she's a Disney
that's-
princess because
She's a Disney princess, yep.
Killmonger for me.
Yeah, I was gonna say
all
Killmonger
day.
for me.
Michael
I really
B. Jordan.
I mean,
Killmonger.
he's very close
really
as
good.
number 2, but I mean, like, out of a serious character, he's number 1. But the sister made me laugh every time she was on screen, except for when she was fighting, because I was like, don't kill her, man. That's
Yeah.
I
And
was like, come on, Killmonger, just kill everybody else. Leave her alone.
And in the scene where he, like, Black Panther tackles him last second, I've seen it 3 times. All the times, it's like he almost got her. He
Oh, I know, he
almost
was
got her.
that close.
Like, when they're falling, you're wondering, like, did he get her? You know, like, it's
Is
that
she
close.
dead? Like, is he gonna get back up there? Like, Killmonger
I actually
was very
really enjoyed
cool.
Clow.
Oh, yeah.
I did really
Andy
like
Serkis?
it.
I really liked him.
I'm actually really mad that he's dead.
I know,
Because I've
yeah.
liked him every time
But
he's been on
man,
screen.
like, his whole way through, like, he sold every performance. When that guy was running, and he's like, all right, let him go. All right, now fight.
Just pops him in the back.
And that explanation that he gave because of why he did it, it was just like, holy
Makes us look like amateurs.
Yeah, it was a really good performance.
Brilliant.
And he was so convincing, just like, he's like, oh, yeah, I do got a mixtape. Yeah, send him the mixtape. He's like, I don't want to see your mixtape.
It was like that guy was having fun no matter what he was doing.
Yeah.
No matter
I think
what.
he's just happy to actually be acting in a movie and not be doing motion capture. Like, he's like, yeah, I did Gollum, and now nobody will hire me for anything but a stupid
No.
mocap suit.
Yeah, and then Planet of the Apes. But one of my favorite things of his that I caught like a secondary time of watching it was when they're in the car chase scene and he's like, what is this, a funeral? Put on some music. And that's when the music kicks in.
Yeah,
I was like,
really
oh,
cool.
that's so good.
It was
Yeah.
Which the soundtrack should be a supporting cast member in this movie. It was
Yeah, the
that
soundtrack
fucking
was
good.
so spot on the
a
whole
lot of people
time.
are hyping on that big time.
Yeah. It's like one of those like Guardians of the Galaxy. Like I'll pick that up.
I
when
mean,
that comes out.
honestly, if I had to put Killmonger on a list, I would probably put him as my second favorite Marvel villain.
That's how I feel.
Behind only Loki, and that's
Exactly.
only because Loki has so much screen time
And levels of complexity to
in
them.
the entirety of the universe.
Well, I just literally recently watched the latest Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah.
and I thought Hela was fucking awesome.
She was
I really
really
like her.
cool. Yeah,
She was cool.
I love that movie. That's one of my
like
favorites.
that movie
Yeah.
was thoroughly fucking entertaining.
solid.
Because they just ad-libbed like 80% of it. They're like, fuck it, we're just gonna make the movie we want to make.
It was very entertaining though, all the way through. The fighting, the story, like even the humor. It could have been a little excessive, but I thought it was like warranted with the Hulk and like all the stuff that he went through.
He sees his junk, he's
Anyway,
like, oh,
I thought Hela was really good in that movie.
I mean, that
Kate
movie.
Blanchett, another Lord of the Rings alum.
Well, I mean, it's kind of
They're
hard
just
to not
stealing
hire.
Peter Jackson's cast.
Right. Well, that worked. Let's go with that next time.
It's like, who can we make Eric Horn?
Somebody get Christopher Lee. He's dead. Fucking bring him back. Gather the Dragon
He'll
Ball.
be Mephisto. It works. He's in character already. No, he would have went to the other place.
No, he's not the
He's
devil.
not
He would have
there.
went to the
Yeah,
other
he
place. That's funny. I would hope our characters don't reflect on where we're going. Because he played Dracula and all kinds of shit.
Right.
He was all kinds of bad guys, man. He was Count Dooku and
It's a very good point. So I got a lot of vibes from this Black Panther movie of like similar to the DC parallel of Aquaman, both being kings, both
Yes.
having major responsibilities, and superheroing kind of came second.
And it makes me excited for the Aquaman movie because I hope they do the same thing.
Yeah.
I hope they focus on the politics of Atlantis as opposed to him being a superhero because Aquaman was probably my favorite part of
The
Justice
League.
League
Justice
was
League?
his setup in that. Like
was
when they're all
solid.
like, "All right, we can do this," and he's like, "Nah, we're all gonna fucking die."
Yeah.
But okay, I was like, I like this guy.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is recently I was talking to my buddy Jim Chernich, and he is a major, long-time Aquaman fan, and he actually, when he went and seen Black Panther, he's just like, well, they've already done it. They've already done this, like,
Which
Prince
is-
and King on the throne thing. So what are they gonna do for Aquaman now?
Which is gonna
Are they
suck
gonna do the
because
same thing? Is
Aquaman-
it gonna be redundant?
Yeah.
Like,
That's the
well,
problem.
well,
Aquaman comes out
Aquaman's will
this
be-
year.
yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
like, oh god, it's gonna be the same thing, and everybody's gonna hate
That's
it.
what he's worried about.
Well,
But,
Aquaman's
I
gonna
don't
be
know.
different because he's an outsider. Like, he is not from Atlantis. He is of royal blood.
That's
Yeah.
true.
But he is not one of the people. Whereas T'Challa, it's totally the opposite. Where everyone's like, "This is who we want to be king."
It'll be-
And then when he wasn't king, they're like, "Shit,
Yeah.
That's true.
I don't want this guy."
Right. And it would be like if Killmonger, like
Exactly. That's what I was gonna
Yes.
say. It'd be the flip-flop version
Yeah.
where Killmonger's the hero.
like the outsider came forward and like ended up taking over the throne.
And Atlanteans are way more distrustful of surface dwellers than Wakandans are of other
of
people.
like of outsiders. Yeah. The Atlanteans do not like land.
Plus, the fights will be totally different. There's no waterfall to push him
Yeah.
over.
Which, speaking of Justice League,
I mean, there's a pit, but he just kind of floats above it.
the hydrokinesis with Mera in Justice League.
Oh
Not
my
to get
God.
off topic,
That was
but
good.
I want to see more of that.
Well, I just want to see more of Mira, like
Yeah.
in general. Mira's like one of my favorite ladies of comics, dude.
Right. And for anyone who does like Mera, she's got her solo book. I think just came out this week.
Yeah.
She needs to be back in Justice League in the comics.
That
I
was
heard,
fun.
I heard that
She
one
was
was
awesome.
actually when she was in it. It was really good.
It
I
was
love
so
it.
fun.
Well, that was like the only Justice League story I've liked out of Rebirth.
Okay.
It's
So
like
far.
the like kids from the future,
Okay.
which
Yeah,
is
that
totally out of canon and it can't it doesn't make sense.
With timelines and hyper
That is
you know?
the biggest problem with Justice League has had is where the Justice League Rebirth comic just says fuck your canon, we're doing whatever the hell we want. Because the last issue, have you guys read it?
Not the last one, but I'm up to date from before that.
Okay. In
The fan
in like one of the
storyline.
last panels, Jessica Cruz kisses Batman. And I was like, why do you hate me?
One. Oh, that's weird.
If you ruin
man.
my bat and cat marriage,
And it's-
Or that
I'm gonna
wasn't the-
burn your
It's
headquarters
happening
to the
actually
ground,
in Batman with
DC.
the Wonder Woman like at 10 years.
They
on.
almost.
Yeah.
The-
It
well,
was
they
fun.
didn't
That
show
was fun.
anything, but
Yeah.
yeah.
They're like doing their hardest to ruin people like me's death.
I know, right?
I was so happy. Like after the War of Jokes and Riddles, when she said yes to the second proposal, I was so happy.
Yeah.
And now they're just like, Batman's gonna kiss everyone, and I'm like, DC, dirty whore, do it, and you and me are gonna have some fucking.
Well, here's the
problems,
thing.
okay?
You know what's going to be great though, when the ultimate happens and he does end up, like not being engaged anymore, and not having her as a girlfriend, like Catwoman's gone. Then we get to get that brooding Batman back that like hates
That
everyone.
violent.
Want a brooding Batman?
I don't want it.
I want to be happy for like
Give him a little
I'm not gonna
He's
lie.
just gonna go out in Gotham and just kick a little more ass that night.
Give me 2 years.
they're gonna do
two
that-
years of a happy Batman. Come on,
No,
give me a break.
If they're gonna do that, they need to kill off Bruce. Because if I want a broody character, I want a broody Damian and a goofy ass Batman again.
Oh, man.
Give me Dick and Damian because that storyline
They've
was
already
fucking
done that.
beautiful.
I know. I want it back.
I want it again.
Good.
It was so good. I love Angry
The
Damian.
world
I
needs
love
more
it.
Dick Grayson in it. That's what it needs.
The world needs the D.
Or they're gonna do
does.
that. They're gonna pull something.
Hashtag the world needs the D.
The world needs the D.
We've actually got some looks for talking about Dick Grayson in public before.
Yeah.
Dude, I love Dick. I think Dick's the best. People are like, wow, they are really open about that.
What? You don't like Dick? I thought everybody liked Dick. Even supervillains
You know what? I
like
won't
Dick.
have it any other way. Dick is what I like. It's like that's what I read.
I don't like.
Choices I choose Dick.
Then they get confused when you're like, Jason's okay, but Dick is the best. Like,
Like, out of the 4 I've seen,
What's
Dick,
a Jason?
like, Dick is really the best.
Yeah, that could confuse some people for sure.
but going back to Black Panther.
Honestly, like, is there any last thoughts that you have about it? I mean, I can honestly say, like, I give it a 4 out of 5. I won't give it a 5, but I will definitely give it a strong 4.
Easily a 4 out of 5. I mean, I was not disappointed or bored at any point in the film, but I've only seen it once, so I don't know.
That's the
The
same
one thing I will say is Rick, you kind of brought something up in the theater, and it kind of slipped in my ear and has been sinking like into my head all week long.
Was it Dick?
Is that
Was it Dick?
is that it's that wonderful smile? No, it's that thing that you said that like I kind of wish that they would cut it out with the mirror match thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
And I was like, man, fucking that guy Rick. And I started thinking about the MCU movies, and I was like, wow, they kind of do.
Marvel,
Well,
dude, that is the
it's not
biggest
just
cliche that Marvel has.
No, it's not even just Marvel.
No,
They
comic
do it
book
with
movies in
fact,
general.
I have a nerd rant written about this already. I just haven't made it yet because it apparently just keeps growing. But
his rants are my fault.
I mean, no one can be blamed for my rants, other than comics in general. But
The darkness in your heart.
other than my own boredom at work is what gets me on the tangent of my rant. But it's everywhere. Like even in the DC TV shows, who was Flash's first villain? Reverse Flash. Who was Green Arrow's first
well,
villain?
that never ended.
Merlin. I know, but who was the first person they
I mean,
faced?
they didn't.
I mean,
stop
that's just
doing
with
speedsters,
Flash.
and in the Arrowverse, they didn't stop doing people that could shoot arrows. Like there's like 4 villains.
I mean, yeah.
You know what I mean?
But it's always the default to go to your mirror match because they did it in Man of Steel. He fought Zod.
that's true.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's not to say that the mirror matches are always bad. Because I mean, like comic books in general, you can get some badass mirror matches.
In this one, they did
like
very
with Barry
good.
and Thawne. Or my favorite Batman villain is Hush, and I think he's one of my favorites just because he's on the same mental level as Bruce.
Yeah.
That their game it's a chess game. It's not a fight like with Bane. It's who can work out the
I mean,
plan.
I think that we all know the next Batman villain needs to be Wrath. That's the mirror match we need. Everyone
Wrath and
remembers Wrath.
Scorn.
I'm pulling
Who
for
will play him?
Deathstroke.
Matt Damon.
Yeah.
After that Justice League end credit with Deathstroke.
Oh, dude.